If you want boys to respect you, show them you're serious. Shoot something, blow it up. Here's your look at new McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse, Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn. Recently liberated, i.e. thrown out on her ass, girlfriend of the Joker presently wanted by just about every lowlife in Gotham City. Harley is a lover of the usual suspects, eater of egg sandwiches, and teller of tall tales. Maybe after this review, we could all go out for egg sandwiches. I know a place. Before we get a closer look, though, at the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn, I'd like to thank the folks over at McFarlane Toys, who provided this sample of Harley that we could have a look at in this video. For a size comparison of Harley Quinns, pluralizing that, we can move over the one that comes from Birds of Prey and bring in the one that we looked at earlier from the new Suicide Squad film. I would say it's safe to say that they're about the same size to one another, roughly about the same build, although it looks like the one from Birds of Prey is slightly a little more slender in the limbs. More on that in a second. Before doing that, though, let's have a look at the accessories that come included with Quinn. Even though it's not really an accessory, I always say that, I'm sure, every time we have a look at these. She comes included with a trading card. The trading card, once again, is using figure photography to, of course, have Harley Quinn leaning against what seems to be a decrepit-looking wall. I do at least appreciate the kind of pose that they put her in, as opposed to just having her standing straight with mallet in hand. I do like the use of the background that they've used as well. Down below, you've got Harley Quinn pulled from, not the pages, but the film Birds of Prey, which I actually did like Birds of Prey. Flipping around to the back, her real name is Dr. Harleen Quinzel, along with a read-up that I happen to have said at the beginning of this review. So you can either pause this, read this whenever you get a chance. I'm really not going to go anywhere. You could read it right now if you'd like and come back. You got it? Okay. Just want to make sure you were able to read that. Again, it's the same thing I read at the beginning of this review, so if you'd like your books on tape, just listen to me at the beginning of this video. The figure also comes included with a display stand. The display stand is the same, although this one looks like it's got a fingerprint left behind. It's probably the moisturizer I'm using prior to these reviews. You can see down below as well, there's the DC logo. Branded on the bottom of the display stand. And again, one singular peg that you can attach to the bottom of Harley's feet. Foot, I guess, more so. The figure also comes included, and I gotta say, this is a nice touch on McFarlane's parts. The fact that they actually included the egg sandwich. Short of the fact, I don't think they actually colored the cheese. You're basically getting more of the egg than anything else in the bread. They at least also put it inside the little foil diaper. Of course, that she's going to be carrying around with her. I love the fact that they actually took the time and included this with the figure. Decent texturing as well. Not that I'm a good gauge when it comes to bread. I've at least eaten it all my life to know that that's pretty good looking bread for a little small action figure to be holding. Speaking of holding, the figure does have the necessary means to actually get this into her hand. And again, if you find like the fingers aren't wide enough, you can either heat them up, use either a hairdryer or a hot water bath, and then you can go ahead and put the egg sandwich in her hand. Num, 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 num. The figure also comes included. Get her and stand here for a second. The figure also comes included with a mallet. It's a nice looking mallet as well, providing, of course, the camera's going to focus in on that. I like the little smiley face that they put on the one side of it, and a smiley face on the other side as well. Just in case your journey, you missed the first one. The other one is there to say, hello, hi, how are you? Can I smash your face in? It's got some nice texturing, so it looks like it's been overly used. You can see as well, it's got the Harley Quinn motif of the diamonds all the way around it. And the handle has been painted decently in a nice dark blue. Once again, I feel like the handle is a little on the thick side, but at least it does have the means to fit into her hand. And again, we only have one hand left to work with. We'll go ahead and just attach that into her hand like that. And because she does also have a double bend in the elbow, she can actually have the mallet draped over her shoulder like this while she's enjoying her egg sandwich. Num, 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 num. So those are the accessories that come included with Harleen Quinzel. Let's go ahead and take the mallet and sandwich out of her hand. We'll get a closer look at the figure. Starting first, we'll have a look at her head sculpt here. It's not a bad looking head sculpt, I have to say. Although, again, I'm going to move this one over. Pardon me for a second. Excuse me. I'm going to bring in the Harley Quinn that we actually got from Suicide Squad. And I might actually say I still like this one a little bit more than this one right here. It's definitely a lot more of a paler looking Harley from Birds of Prey than the more flesh-toned Harley Quinn that we get from Suicide Squad. You can see like the difference between the two. It is not literally just the reuse of the same face, although it does have a very similar looking smirk. Again, I just think I like the head sculpt on this one just a little bit more. But I do like the fact that they've given her the pigtails, dipped on both sides in two different colors. Pink on the one side, a little lighter, and then more of the more vibrant blue on the other side. Again, it's a good looking head sculpt. She does have the rotten down below there, and the still carryover heart from one face to the other. Now, while this one is sporting more of a red dress, this one actually goes with quite the outrageous looking outfit. That's one of the things I really liked about Harley Quinn in Birds of Prey, that she had these crazy looking outfits. I hope we actually get a couple more of these from McFarlane Toys. Now, this is the one that she's got like the gold jumpsuits, kind of coveralls, overalls. They are a softer plastic. I like the way they've done this because they've actually used a softer plastic. So this attaches around to her torso. You could, I suppose, in theory, drape these over her shoulders if you wanted to. But basically underneath what you'd be getting is just a belly top. And it looks like she's also got a couple of suspenders, or at least one suspender. Maybe it's, right there you can see. And then the top itself is more of a harder plastic. But it does work actually quite well. And when it comes to the articulation on the figure that we'll talk more about in a second, it doesn't limit at all what you can do with the figure's top torso. So it's nice use of using softer plastic in this case. Again, one last look to Harley's face here. The paint work done on the eyes is really nice. That's one positive point I'll mention about the face. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of positive points about the head sculpt as we spin this around. I like the sculpting of the hair as well. And, of course, she also has her necklace on there as well. You can see Bruce. I would love, I don't know if it's possible, that at some point McFarlane Toys could release the hyena. I would love to see that be something that they can include later on to go along with this Harley Quinn. Perfect for a display, if you ask me, if she's got like her little hyena, not so little, standing or walking next to her, I suppose. The texture work done to the outfit, going back to the idea of this, it's first of all a nice gold coloring that they've used for the plastic. And then again, within that, she's got the Harley Quinn motif. The diamonds themselves are smoother than the more coarser texture around it. I do like the way it wrinkles around the areas of her behind, stretched across the legs, for example. It's a really nice looking plastic that they've used. I can't tell whether this is actually, well, I guess one way to tell, we can flip this around. That would be the telltale sign. It looks as if they've used a gold plastic rather than actually painting it, because they probably wouldn't have painted the inside of it. I don't think I've ever really seen this type of plastic be used before. We've seen gold plastic be used with other action figures, but certainly not this shiny, and it really does look nice on Harley Quinn here. Now, she does also have the tattoos across her body. She does have the little J tattoo there up on her shoulder, as well as she has the Harley Quinn motif, again, down on her forearm. And she does also have like little decorative pieces on her fingers as well, a couple of rings, brass knuckles there as well. It's these little attentions to detail. You really you appreciate the fact that the company would stop and say, you know what, let's try to bring in as much to this figure that she actually had in the movie. And again, I really like the fact they threw in as much to this figure's detail as they did. Now, for this figure, she actually does have the roller skates, not roller blades. Vintage looking roller skates. Coloring is nice on the boots as well. Both the pink and the blue work quite well, with the wheels down below alternating in those colors, those familiar Harley Quinn colors. Well, not maybe so familiar, but in the comics at one point she was doing like the alternate blue and red, and she has that also as well. The neat thing about it, though, is that they have put holes on the bottoms of the roller skates, for example. So if you did want to still use a display stand, would you actually believe that you can take then the roller skate, fancy that, and it actually attaches to the display stand? Again, I think that's a nice touch on their part. Fancy. We'll have a look at the figure's articulation now. Harley Quinn's head sits on a ball joint, and a ball joint that actually allows her head to tilt quite far back, actually, and allows the head to tilt quite far forward, too. The head can tilt back and forth by quite a lot as well, and you can rotate, of course, the head all the way around. Granted, there is a gap that you can see between the neck and the head, but to be fair, though, that a little bit of allotted clearance is the thing that I appreciate about the head sculpt, because you're able to do as much as you can with the head. There's no limitations, really. As for the shoulders easily can go beyond the point of a 90 degrees, although this shoulder is a little on the tighter side for me. I may have to heat that up a little bit more, but you can see that this would just be a mirror copy on the other side, and you can see what the shoulders really are capable of doing. Again, just beyond the point of 90 degrees. You can rotate the arms, of course, all the way around. Like all the other DC Multiverse figures, she also has that socketed joint that just basically allows the arms to come out a little bit further. Again, it's a little tight on this arm, but at least she does have, again, that socketed joint in there as well, just to give you a little extra mileage. The figure does have a bicep swivel, although while swiveling this, it seems to want to swivel the entire arm. Let's just hold on to the top of the shoulder there, as you can see, swiveling the bicep. Nice to see a double hinge on the elbow. And the figure, of course, does have the wrist that swivel all the way around. You can also hinge those back and forth too. Again, appreciate the fact that even though you would have thought that this would have been too contained inside the coveralls, that you wouldn't be able to rotate the torso. Quite the contrary. You can actually rotate it via a ball joint underneath all that. The legs split out with what seems again to be a ratcheted joint. You can almost even hear it. I hope you can certainly hear it. If not, I'm just hearing voices, I'm sure. You can bring the legs forward, and you can, of course, bring the legs back. There's a slight swivel at the top where it attaches to that ball joint. Double hinge on the knee. And then when it comes to the shoulders, the roller skates can move back and forth this way. They can move also back and forth this way. And in case you're curious, just in case you were going to throw the question out there, she doesn't have toe articulation. It's all sculpted with the shoes there. Nice looking Harley Quinn. Certainly a lot paler as well. I'm just going to go ahead and put her down on display. Get her feet to be just a little straighter so she's not going to topple over on us. And again, we'll bring in the Harley Quinn that we just recently had a look at from the Suicide Squad movie. Two very different approaches when it comes to Harley Quinn. I mentioned something already earlier into this review. This Harley Quinn seems to have, this one here on the right, has slightly slenderer wrists as well as forearms and biceps. It's a little thinner. In fact, actually, you know what? Just before we wrap things up with this review, it could also just simply be the case the way they've colored it. The more I'm looking at it, in fact, it actually does look like, although it does seem like her arm is a little bit longer, but I think it's just more of an optical illusion, the fact that she does have the double hinge on the elbow. In actual fact, it does seem like she does have the same arms. I don't know why it seemed for a second that the Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad had slightly thicker arms, but that, I guess, doesn't seem to be the case. Pick your poison, though, certainly when it comes to Harley Quinn. Again, I like the different outfits that she had in Birds of Prey. She didn't have as many elaborate costumes when it came to Suicide Squad. She had kind of that throwback to her classic, somewhat Arkham outfit. And then, of course, she had this dress here. Birds of Prey had that topped by the fact she had several very elaborate-looking costumes. McFarlane Toys picked, of course, one of them for their release. But I hope that we maybe get another couple of Harley Quinns from Birds of Prey. And again, not probably the most popular of opinion. I liked Birds of Prey. I would like to certainly see more Harley Quinns released from that movie. And certainly release as well Bruce the Hyena. That would be a great touch as well to come included with the figure as well. As Harley stops to enjoy her egg sandwich, I must say I've rather enjoyed this Birds of Prey Harley Quinn from the folks over at McFarlane Toys. Now, this, I guess, marks, when you think about it, 3 now Harley Quinns that the team has put out there. The other one that I didn't bring in for this review, simply just because the other one was tied in more to her comic and cartoon roots. I did want to more compare them, the movie versions of Harley Quinn in this review. But now being this the 3rd Harley Quinn, she does do enough things differently than the other 2 Harleys that we've got before. Still, though, I think I like the head sculpt on the Suicide Squad Harley Quinn the most. I think it captures the best likeness to Margot Robbie. Although this one is nice because it does have, first of all, the paler looking skin and quite the more elaborate looking outfit that she has in Birds of Prey. I like this Harley Quinn. Whether they will release another Harley from the Birds of Prey movie is probably doubtful, because I don't think a lot of people really like that movie. And the movie wasn't as successful, I think, as the studio would have hoped. But I would be open to the idea of getting more Harley Quinns from Birds of Prey and even giving us some of the characters also that appeared in the film. But please, McFarlane Toys, if it's possible, let me just ask ever so nicely if you could please release a Bruce the Hyena. I think that would be a great display piece. Maybe either packaged it along with Harley Quinn, the one we already have. Maybe give us a different Harley Quinn, or maybe even give us a couch that you could put Bruce the Hyena on top of. Please make it happen. A big thank you, though, to the folks over at McFarlane Toys that provided this sample of the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn that we can have a look at in this review. What do you guys think of the figure? Let me know down below in the comments section. And for your video question, if you don't mind me throwing it out there to the wind and you can catch it with your butterfly nets, what do you guys think? What did you guys think of Birds of Prey? Good movie? Not so great movie? Let me know down below in the comment section. We can digest it. Nom, 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 nom. If you guys are new to this channel, you're enjoying all the content you're seeing. I hope you're enjoying all the content you're seeing. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already done so. Make sure you turn on the bell notification. Make sure you keep your peepers peeled because there will be more DC Multiverse reviews coming your way in the not so distant future. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.